Hey, Nathan.
Hey,
How's it going?
you know, it's going all right.
Hello?
What was that?
What the fuck was that?
Did you hear that?
Can you hear me?
Hear who?
I hear somebody.
Me.
Wait a minute. Let me go check the text here.
What the hell's going on?
Your elite codes have been hacked by Krantar. Krantar, we've been hacked. I told you we should have been working on security. Now he's laughing at us. Now we're fools.
It's always important to keep that Windows firewall on, boys.
I never have that thing on.
Well, if you're wondering, we have a third guest for the Nintendo Switch podcast that we're doing tonight. I want to welcome to the B Plus podcast, Krantar.
Thank you.
Welcome
Hi.
to the podcast.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Seftimor.
Sweet.
Appreciate it.
Well, we left off last time with right around the GameCube. We talked about the Switch a little bit. We talked about the Nintendo systems that we've had. But since being first time on the podcast, if you want to start with the GameCube, Krantar, you can.
Sure.
What did you like about it? What were your dislikes?
So I've just to give you a background, I've had everything from regular Nintendo onward, so regular Super. And I think the GameCube is probably, for me at least, the most memorable system. From what I can recall, it wasn't a huge, I think over time it ended up selling the most. We might have to fact check that one. I don't know off the top of my head.
Which one?
No, Nathan knows.
GameCube?
Yeah, was that like one of Nintendo's was like the most successful?
All right. I'm gonna bring this back in here because you know what? That's great that you mentioned that because I actually wanted to talk about this from last time. Last time we were talking about how successful each console was,
Right?
And I forgot to look at the bottom of this infographic here. Game Boy would have a number 1 by it, and I would read below it. It'd be like, this is combining the sales of Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Light, Game Boy Color, and 2 different units: Game Boy Advance SP, Game Boy Micro, and like that would be all these things like crammed together. So Game Boy, say the NES came out, and for America it should have been around 1984, 85. We did about 61.91 million in sales. Not too bad. But if you take all these Game Boys and different versions of them, you slap them together, which you kind of do, consider that the same console, but they just keep selling you the same thing over and over again, kind of like Apple does. Game Boy came in at 118.69 million in the sales. I'm just like, whoa! So then the SNES comes out by itself because they're not going to sell you 5 of them. It gets 49.10 million. N64 32.93, and then the GameCube comes in at 21.74. And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It didn't do so. Okay, so it was either I was trying to remember if it was either the best one or the worst one, and it obviously wasn't very good. So but I feel like for me personally, the just the games that I played through that system. Like Animal Crossing is a big one.
Oh, that's a huge game.
One of my favorite Zeldas and one of the biggest selling things for
Hey, wait, which Zelda was that?
Wind Waker.
That's the one I'm going to play next. Okay.
So, what were your thoughts on that?
It's like my favorite one.
Yeah, mine too. I played it for the Wii when they remastered the Wii U.
Yeah. It's so good. I mean, it kind of like and you can kind of back me up, Seftimor. I feel like that was kind of the first open world-ish Zelda from all. Well, that's not necessarily true considering how big like the Super Nintendo one was, Link to the Past and stuff. But I don't know, for the system, it was pretty like you'd sail around a lot of the map in Wind Waker. And it felt very open world-ish to me.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I remember playing it even with a guide, and there was just so many different things to do in the game, like even out in the water.
Yeah.
Like there was just so many different. I absolutely, I love it, and I'm not say a Zelda connoisseur. Like I've played probably 5 of the games.
This is good information for me because I had come from played all the Zeldas when they came out for NES, and then I started playing them for the SNES. And obviously, there's always going to be a spark in my heart, like minus, like let's get graphics out of there. Maybe you're going to want to call it retro gaming, call it what you will, but the one for the NES, I think it was The Legend of Zelda: A Link Through Time. That one? Is that the name of it?
Well, the SNES one, Link to the Past, is
Link to the Past. That's the one. That's the one that, like, if you had to give me a list of just 50 video games of all time, I'd probably have that at number one every single time. I stopped playing it during the 64 around the Ocarina time, and that was a good game. And I felt I can compare my experience to what you guys are talking about, but I don't know because I haven't tried anything from the GameCube or basically the Wii era. As far as an expansive world, Ocarina of Time, it was very 3D. You had to ride a horse and shoot arrows at the same time. I remember that being very difficult.
Yeah, the controller didn't help. That's
no, it didn't help itself at all.
design.
But yeah, that I want to get back into this franchise, and now hearing you talk about it makes me figure out where I want to start. So I kind of want to start where I left off after the 64. So the GameCube's my next stop, whether it be for the Cube itself, or I think I could just get one of the Wii renditions of it, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, get the Wii U is totally remastered and all that, and it looks great. That's what we were talking about last time is, well, maybe I don't know if me and you, Nathan, were talking about it, but I was just saying about how the graphics on something like on PS4 like Horizon just came out, but if you look at the Nintendo Switch with the new Zelda, and it has that, not that it's like Warcraft cartoony or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful looking game. It doesn't have to have the most high tech graphics in it or anything like that. Nintendo knows how to make and have that art style that pops and that you could you really get immersed in, not just having super graphics.
Yeah. I feel like I think it's called cell shading or something like that is the term for it. But I'm a huge fan of that art style, like that with like Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild, the two Zeldas, and then like I don't know if you ever played Team Fortress 2 for PC. That's a big cell shading, and that art style is just so cool to me personally. It's kind of like a love or hate thing. It seems like a lot of people, you're either in one or the other camp, kind of, from what I've read. But anyways, though. The GameCube was cool because it had a lot of games. Like, despite being not really very high selling system, I feel like it had a lot of really good, for me, formative, like solidifying my Nintendo fanboyism. Not that like I don't want to disregard the N64 because that was like so big back then. But for me personally, I recall a lot of the games I had the most fun on were on GameCube, and like hell, Smash Brothers. I mean, the 64 one was good, but for my, like, I don't know if it was like the age or what, I could still remember walking home from school, playing my friend in, he'd play Ganondorf, I'd be Link, and we'd just duke it out. Like, just a lot of good memories with the GameCube. So despite not being a very big, like, sales numbers success, I think there were a lot of really good games on it that people either didn't get the chance to play or just didn't get seen. Like, and then, of course, Paper Mario is another one. Like that game is just, I played that one on I think it was just Paper Mario, and then I want to say like the Thousand Year Door was the other one or something. I might have my like
I never played that one.
The mixed up with them, but
was the Smash Brothers on the GameCube the huge one?
It was there.
There. So the first one was on 64,
right?
And I'm trying to think of what the one on the GameCube was.
Was that Brawl then or no?
I think it was Melee. No,
I was gonna say Melee.
Yeah, I think it was Melee.
But yeah, so have you picked up a Switch?
I have.
And what's your thoughts? Being the only one that actually owns one here, so that's why we had to bring you on.
And man, I mean, it's going to be cool to talk about. I gotta say, so I'll start. Initially, when I saw a lot of the reports on it, I was pretty skeptical because I was like a early adopter of the 3DS, and despite how nice it is now to have, the first edition of the 3DS was just kind of underwhelming. The 3D thing was cool, but I think for me personally, it gave me a lot of headaches. I wear glasses, so like, trying to kind of you have to like align yourself with it.
I shut that stuff right off when I got it.
And that's another thing too. You didn't even really end up using it when you got it, but they eventually, like Bob had mentioned earlier with other Game Boy systems, they remade it 3 different ways and sold it 3 or 4 times. So, but out the box, the Switch is just it's a great size. I feel like it's coming in at a good time in tech where tablets are like a very common household thing. I just think overall the design, first of all, is a great move for Nintendo.
Yeah, it is.
It's not, like it's not as powerful as a PS4 or Xbox, but I think that even with like each new generation of systems, people become just kind of like there's only so many times you can really sell a system on its like graphical power alone. The Switch has so many different options you can do with it.
It really does. Actually, I'm gonna jump in right there.
Yeah.
If you think about the direction that Nintendo was trying to take with its consoles, and we kind of watched them like kind of ramp down from like the SNES to the NES to great. Game Boy came in there and it went kaboom, did like 120 million in sales. Then we did SNES, N64, GameCube, and it went down, 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 down. And then before we know it, it flew back up to 80 million with the Game Boy Advance. And then Nintendo's like, well, we started as like basically like making cards, then toys, and then like handheld things. So they saw the work they did with the Game Boy. They knew what they have with the Advance. The DS combined together, right? If you take the DS and you were to put let's see, all of them together, Nintendo DS, DS Lite, DSi, DS XL, they combined total did the highest sales of any system Nintendo ever put out at 152 million. Like they owned. And my chart only goes up to the 3DS. Just what you said before is true, because the 3DS came out and it only did around 17 million in sales, because the first one was I don't know, maybe a little awkward. But here we are. We did the Wii. We did the Wii U. We were in years where we thought that Nintendo was going to have to go the way of a third-party developer that like Sega would have to. And so then Sonic could be made for other consoles. The Mario and Zelda would be made for somebody else. And they didn't. They pulled it off that year with the controller, with the Wii. Xboxes were breaking. PlayStations weren't working the right way. The Wii already had a nice a system that would work and a decent library with it. It wasn't the top graphics, but it didn't matter. People want to play Mario. They want to play Zelda. They want to get lost in these franchises that they grew up on. And Nintendo knows this. And now that they know that they have these uber sales surrounding not only some of their systems and their games, but mainly their handhelds, what would be better next to put out a hybrid? So we get this hybrid, which is really, I saw it. I played on it before. It's like a portable gaming system. Absolutely, yes. It's a home gaming system. Absolutely, yes. Is it more powerful than the Wii U? Probably. Does it need to be more powerful than a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One? No, it doesn't. And I think Nintendo knows that. And I think
never had to. Nintendo never had to do stuff like that. Like we said, I mean, they have their own. They'll always have their own niche, like their own niche, whatever the hell it is. They'll always have that because they, like I said, you buy a Nintendo for those games. You're not. That's where I bought a Wii U when it came out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna play my Call of Duty or all this on this, which it's not. You buy it for Mario, you buy it for Zelda, and they can never take, as long as they hold it down with that, they'll never have to be a third party, because they could tank and then just put out a Breath of the Wild and it just everyone goes nuts.
Yeah.
And they could come out, sell it on a new system, and now they're back up. Now Nintendo's back again. I mean, like I said, I'm considering getting one because every single YouTuber, every single person I follow, there's Nintendo Switch. Like I've never seen this much publicity on, like, say, YouTube channels or tech channels than I have with the Switch. And Nintendo is, I think they'll always be around. But what I don't like that they're changing now is that they never wanted to go into the mobile space. Your highest selling products are the portable ones, and you don't want to go into mobile gaming.
Well, of course they don't. What they can keep it all proprietary on their own systems. Like they're going to keep it on their own handhelds. Like they have more money to make reselling their own handhelds just by making it 3D or XL or color.
Yeah, but they could keep that and make Clash of Clans Mario, and throw it on mobile, just like they're doing Super Mario Run.
It seems like Super Mario Run's kind of they're like they're sticking their big toe into the water to kind of see how well it does.
So they are giving this a shot.
Oh yeah, and they came out with Fire Emblem too. Fire Emblem's cool.
I wish they had the Super Mario Run for Android, because I would definitely at least try it.
Well, it's like soon, like maybe this week soon.
Oh wow! Oh great!
So go on your Android device and pre-register.
We're checking that out for sure.
Oh, let me answer your question from before. The GameCube came out in 2001. Super Smash Brothers Melee came out in 2001 also.
Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like the 64 version obviously was huge. It was so much fun. I can still remember playing that. But yeah,
I remember playing it too.
So how are you utilizing the Switch? Are you playing more on your big screen, or are you using it as a portable?
Initially I have a nice TV thanks to Nasom. He kind of helped me
Hey,
there. But
no
so I was using it as that, and I was okay with that. The little, so they have like the Motion Joy controllers. It comes with like a kind of a plastic connection that turns it into a bigger controller. So I was comfortable with that. If you look at the pictures online, and you haven't experienced it firsthand, it looks like an awkward controller, but it fits pretty nicely in your hand. So I was doing that for the longest time on my TV, but I have a recliner for my computer desk, and that's kind of a humble brag, but that's neither here nor there. But
It does. It does.
I grabbed it out of the dock and I sat down with it, and I was kind of doing some stuff on the computer and playing with it, and I realized how comfortable it can be portable too. Because my biggest worry with it when I looked at it is I thought it was going to be as big, if not bigger, than the Wii U controller. Which, while it's a cool little controller, or well, it's not really little, but it's a cool controller, it's kind of clunky. So that was my biggest skepticism with the Switch. But the way the screen is, it's actually a very small system, despite it plugging into a dock. So I would say that I kind of am at 50-50 with the portability and the docking.
How's the battery life on there for you when you take it out?
I will say that if you put it in airplane mode, obviously, like you turn off the Wi-Fi capabilities for it, it lasts a lot longer. And actually, I've read and experienced, you actually get a better frame rate when you're outside of dock mode with the Wi-Fi turned off. But I'd say about with max brightness, Breath of the Wild, probably about 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. So I was just seeing if it was the same for you. Did you get the Pro controller and all that? I know a couple of my buddies did.
I didn't get the Pro controller. It's definitely, I wanted to kind of keep it base, just kind of grab Zelda and the system, and then if I liked it, I'd move into it. So I don't have a Pro controller.
Yeah, I know that a couple of my buddies they weren't really fond of the thing that came with it. But
I kind of hear what he's saying though, because even me switching from was the 64, and I kind of skipped GameCube, but I have GameCube's controller here. I can use that on this Wii here. It's funny you were talking about how much you love the 64. I play a lot less games. I do a lot less gaming these days, but I want to take this trip back to the Zelda's franchise. So now I have an opportunity here to play this game, whether it's a Wii release or its original the smaller like CD that they had for the GameCube works on the Wii as long as you plug in the controller and maybe a memory, some type of an SD card on the side.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, hey, don't do it. Just don't do it. Come and sit down, be a purist, experience this Wii controller and it's a nunchuck that comes with it, and just try to play the game with that for as long as you can before you got to all right, get this crap out of here. I need a normal controller. So yeah, I see what you're saying, because that makes a lot of sense. There's a part of me that would want to do that with the Switch also. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What titles are you looking forward to besides just Zelda?
So yeah, I like Zelda, and I don't want to go off on a tangent on how good it is, but it's pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty jaded when it comes to video games.
Is it beating Wind Waker?
It's tough because there's that nostalgic factor with Wind Waker. I just remember I've spent so much time on Wind Waker, man. But I will say it will give it a run for its money. I don't think anything will beat that childhood it's a little dramatic, but childhood wonder of sailing around in that boat, going to the different islands, getting the pieces of the Triforce. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But Breath of the Wild does a pretty damn good job. But
I've actually played it. It's really good. I think some of the old school fans of it, and I know this isn't the Zelda podcast, but
they got one game. We're talking about Nintendo Switch. It's fine.
Okay. They're going to encounter some things. They'll see the puzzle aspect. They'll see the open world aspect. They'll see the things that they know and they like, but they're not going to be used to, I think, and correct me if this is wrong, they're not going to be used to collecting items and having items break. I think that some people aren't really liking that a whole lot.
No. My buddy absolutely hates it. He says that, you'll get an item that's I'm not exactly sure the math on how it works, but like you'll get an item, say sword that does 50 damage, and then you fight something that has uh 500 health, but by the time you get to him, your stuff's all broken and you end up using a 5 damage or a 10 damage weapon, so it takes like that much longer to kill.
What does
Yeah.
Krantar have to say about that?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're kind of spot on that. It's true. It can be pretty frustrating. My wife has the same problems with she's trying to fight a particular monster, and she's at the point of the game where you don't really get the weapons on par with the health of the monsters. So there is some that's a valid criticism of the game, is that like the weapons breaking can be pretty frustrating, and it kind of coincides with some of the puzzles and discovery in the game, but like you have to unlock more inventory space. So I mean, you start off with like, I think like 6 slots for for like melee weapons, and they're at the beginning in the tutorial zone they kind of throw you in, you're getting tons of stuff just from running around like a maniac in that small space, and at times it feels like, crud, I have these weapons, but I have to drop this, and the inventory management for the weapons is definitely can be frustrating. So I agree. I can see why your friends would be upset. It does bother me from time to time too. As you complete parts of the game, it kind of scales up with you, so it becomes a little bit easier, but it's always something that's on your mind. It's always something you have to consider. So
it's funny. It's one of the frustrating parts of playing an MMO, especially Warcraft for myself, was the bank and inventory in the bags game. I'm like, am I here to play this game and have fun, or am I here to organize my bags and take stuff and put them in
This
banks?
is coming from a guy that's only played Warcraft Farmville for like.
Oh yeah, which one?
Expansions.
What did I play on the one? I disregarded the
Garrison. That was
I
it.
disregarded the whole game, and I just played the Garrison, and I was just like, "Well, this is great." The new expansion came out, and I'm like, "Screw this!"
Yeah, and you had better gear than everybody. But if I was to, if I'm to get a Switch, I know they're like impossible to find right now, but
nah, I get them on eBay.
Yeah, no. If I'm to get one, it's gonna be for Super Mario Odyssey. That looks
it looks cool.
That looks awesome. I mean, if there's one thing that will always get me back, it's Mario. I've played, the Wii version, the Wii U version, and those are still my favorite. I don't give a shit. Give me Mario jumping down a goddamn tube, and I'm set. Pipe, I'm set. But now, you're gonna be in like the real world and go to all these different places. I'm really looking forward to it, and Mario Kart, because they fucked up big time on the last one with no battle mode. They made an amazing game where all you did was race. They took out, everyone played the N64 version because of this amazing battle mode, and they didn't put it in. So now they're finally come to their senses, and they're gonna do it. I just don't know what it is with these companies when they're like, yo, we're gonna kill this. We're gonna make this amazing game. Let's just leave that part out.
Yeah, it's
the part that everyone played.
It's weird. I don't know who play tests for them, but they're out of touch for sure. I feel like it's budgetary stuff. That's the only way I could rationalize it in my mind, is somebody somewhere is going, we can release this now and make X amount of dollars, or we could put in this feature that maybe they'll care about, maybe they won't. And you know what I mean? Like that's
we'll like make it even. Yeah, we'll hit even.
It's like we have the budget. We want to hit this date, and we want to put everything into this game that people love, and this is the core game. And then someone's going to be like, "Well, what if you put this aspect of what people liked about the 64? What if he got nullified by like 3 other people? Like, no one wants to do that. Shut the fuck up." They ate his face off. They left it on the floor, and that's how it's not in the game.
Yeah.
So like I said, Mario Kart, and then Super Mario Odyssey. Always Mario, but I think there was some cool things I saw, like the boxing game looked pretty cool.
Yeah. I have a recommendation for you now.
Bomberman.
I got Bomberman. It's okay. It's all right. My wife's a big fan of Bomberman. She's played it a lot, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but according to her, it's okay. So, and this could kind of spin off into its own tangent. Like we can kind of backtrack into the Wii and Wii U. So I'm not a huge fan of motion controls. I think they're cool when they're done right, but if they're not done right, it's just terrible. Like you know what I mean? Like the difference between good and bad. Bad is really bad. Good is just like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Let me explain it this way. I'll jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Like we're at my house. It's New Year's Eve. His wife is a serious gamer, so if she says a game's good, it's good because she doesn't screw around. Like there's no fun. It's a game. Take it serious, right? So we're all trying to play a game that involves us there in the room together, and she's got this one on, that one on. She's the DJ. She's knocking it out of the park, and then like Patrick's like, "All right, what are we playing next?" And I'm like, "I'm going outside. I'll be right back." And she's like, "We're doing this game." She goes, "All you have to do is take the controller and walk it over here like it's a bucket of water." And you're like, "Oh man, you have to get up."
Yeah, I'm not a motion control guy at all. Like, I don't know, but and I'll just go cut ahead quick to this too. The Breath of the Wild motion controls are good. I didn't like Skyward Sword because the motion controls I felt were terrible and they kind of like ruined it for me. But this was a game for the Wii U. It was called Splatoon. And I don't know if you saw any commercials or any media.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, the idea is it's like a paintballish game where you're on either one side, and the goal of it is to cover the map in as much of your team's ink before like a time limit or something like that. And if you do, you win, and you could shoot the other team with your ink to kind of like kill them or blow them up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the aiming is all based on motion control. Now, and for somebody who really doesn't like motion control, I picked it up because it seemed cool, and the motion control for it was done so well. Like, if you're holding the Wii U gamepad and you want to aim your gun somewhere, you turn the Wii U gamepad, and the responsiveness is like on point. Like, I love keyboard and mouse for FPS. I'm not a controller guy, and this was awesome. And they're making a second one for the Switch now because the whole console is like in your hand. Using the motion controls, I would surmise it'd be really cool. And I mean, the game was excellent to begin with. So, you know, if you end up getting one, keep your eye on that. That's definitely something I'm looking forward to for the Switch. So
I demoed that game in Best Buy at the same time we were painting the house, the walls in the house. And so I had like a cost analysis of how much you can buy in either a 5-gallon tub or in 1-gallon cans for paint. And I'm playing this game in Best Buy. I'm like, oh my God, this is so expensive. Because you're flying through paint and ink like it's nothing.
Yeah, they have like paint bazookas and everything. I mean, Splatoon 2, it's going to be. They're not paying me to say this. It's probably going to be good, though. So.
Cha-ching, money back hit you in the pants. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yo, maybe they'll be our first sponsor.
Yeah, right? Hey, let's do it. I could use a Switch.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to talk about with the Switch?
One other game.
I have a question for you before you tell me about your other game.
Yeah, sure.
Switch versus Wii U. Go.
Man, that's an easy one. I mean, the marketing for Wii U was terrible. I think everybody thought it was just another version of the Wii. I mean, I don't know why they named it Wii U. I don't like the name. It's goofy.
You're right. I read about that. People were confused when it was being released. They didn't know if it was going to actually be a new thing because it wasn't called anything else.
Yeah, I think if you were like a fanboy of Nintendo like myself, I mean, we looked into it, and I think we eventually got it for Pikmin, which was really good for Wii U. I like the Pikmin games. That's another GameCube one, by the way. Another game.
All right.
So there's another for the list, but I lost my thought process.
It's Wii U versus the Switch.
Oh yeah. Switch crushes it by. I mean, like the marketing is better, the timing for it's better. I mean, everything's more mobile. The console does docking mode just as good as it does the handheld. It's there's some trade-offs with it, but it fits way better as like this hybrid system that I think Nintendo is gonna benefit from kind of playing to. So
the Wii U feels like an experiment for this, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Like especially the controller.
Right, especially the controller.
Yeah, it was basically the halfway point in between having what we did with the Wii and then the Wii U and where we're at now. And then, like I said before, with the success of the sales of the handheld systems, it all just makes sense to do a hybrid. I mean,
yeah.
This is where we're at.
Well, and I mean, the thing about it is that like Nintendo always does well with its handhelds because in Japan those things sell crazy. I mean, if you
Yeah.
read a little bit about it, like handheld gaming in Japan, huge. It's not really as big in America. And the Switch, especially how they're marketing it over in America, they're trying to kind of like play it off as like an older thing. It's not like a kid thing to have a handheld. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yep.
that weird kind of cultural thing where over here it's like, you know, you look weird, but everybody's got a smartphone, so it doesn't make much sense to me personally. You know what I mean? Like you look just on your smartphone, but I think that this does it really well. Like I have a plane trip coming up, and I can't.
I was just gonna say that.
On there. Yeah, like I can't wait to play that on the plane. I mean,
That's right. The man can sit down.
Can you charge it and play?
You know what? They do have as long as I now don't quote me on it, but you can get like little batteries that you can charge and then just charge it that way. You know what I mean? Like battery banks. They have them for like cell phones and stuff. You just have to have the I'm pretty sure the Switch is a USB-C charger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think as long as it's the right voltage with or you know, I'm not sure what the measurement is for it specifically, but
basically your battery storage, like whatever cell you bought, is going to be how much energy you can put into it. As long as you have the right connection to, I guess it's the C-type connection to the Wii Switch, you're fine. You're just going to drain whatever you have. It depends. Whatever you bought's only it's only going to run as long as you're going to be able to play. The one you might have paid more for that has more power will last longer, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean the point of it though is that like compared to like a PS4 or Xbox One where you have to like put it in this crazy like suitcase thing that you buy with a T or an LCD screen. You know what I mean? I'm sure you've seen them somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, you just pull the Switch out and
you're done.
You throw a little battery bank on it and you could play it wherever.
So now I'm gonna be the person that doesn't understand what the system is, and I'm gonna come at you like this. You mean to tell me you're sitting in your house playing Zelda on your beautiful LCD sharp television, and then you have to get on a flight that exact day to travel far, far away? You can take that thing that you're calling like Nintendo's new release, its new system. You can play it in the car, you can play it on the way to the plane, you can play it on the plane, you can play it getting off the plane, and you can play it at your new destination, hook it up to some other television, and you're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
That's pretty cool. It's just pretty cool.
It is. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah, though. Monster Hunter, second game. I just got to get in Monster Hunter.
I can't get into that, man, and I see so much to talk about it.
Oh, you know, it is a love and hate thing. I mean, the combat can be very slow depending on what kind of weapon you choose, but it's such a long running series, and it's just one of those things that I love. I love playing it.
Yeah. Well, anything else?
I got one last thing.
Okay.
And the more we talked about it and the more we had to think about it, even together brainstorming, or the more I was able to look at it from the outside looking in, I went from a certain type of a gamer that like stopped consoles, stopped his own Nintendo, would only play stuff on PCs, and would even get tunnel vision, kind of tunnel vision into only playing like an MMO, one MMO. And it's after I threw it all down and walked away from it that I was able to realize one person was playing it, and Krantar's wife was playing it, and it made me realize, probably the first game that made me realize this. It was for the Wii U, and it's Yoshi's Wool World, and it goes to show that you can use this type of graphics in Nintendo. That's not going to be the pinnacle. They're not going to be the zenith of like how good it's going to look visually, whether it can actually even be played on a PC or a console like a Microsoft or a PlayStation. Like those are the only ones that can do it. You don't need all that all the time, and that's a really expensive endeavor to go on, whether you're going to develop it or want to play it. So you can have a game that has such good game mechanics at its base, right? And then you can have such a fun kind of world built around it, even if it's a platformer, that you end up with this product that is just totally cool, totally fun, and you can do it like single player or co-op. And like, it seems like the possibilities are endless because there's just so much creativity there. That's why Nintendo does not need to compete with other type of consoles in the same line or path that they're trying to take, because they're already on their own path. They already have a good thing, and they already know what to do with it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
What's love got to do? Got to do with it. All right. Well, if that's it, then well, we thank you for coming on. Are you a permanent host?
Gratar.
Yeah. I'd like to come by again, man. It was a lot of fun. I could jar about Nintendo all day, but
Well, we do different things in pop culture. So probably gonna do that new Mastodon album. You might have to be on board for that.
ooh, yeah, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say about Mastodon. I don't know.
All right, well, I gotta save it.
I will. I'll save it.
How about this time we'll invite you on? You don't have to hack your way in, huh?
Yeah. You guys should really, close all those ports and other tech jargon and whatnot, so that way I can't sneak in next time.
I ain't closing shit.
All right. Well, as always, this is brought to you by SeftimorLive.com. If you enjoy this, please give us a like, hit that subscribe button so you guys get updates for every time that we post, which is probably going to be a little bit more now that we have a third host. So, all right. Good night. Thank you guys for watching, and take care.
Bye.